Sports photography is something that's going to be very, very difficult with this camera. It wasn't really designed for taking sports pictures. It doesn't even have a sport mode. So the best thing you can do is increase the ISO in order to get the fastest shutter speed possible. Let's first go into the function menu. As always, press the function button. Go ahead and leave it in the manual mode for now. And we'll go down to white balance. Again, make sure that your white balance is set accordingly. I'm going to assume that we're outdoors. There is plenty of light, and so I'm going to set this to daylight. And press the function button to escape the function menu. Now, you don't want to use the flash, so click the flash button or the right navigation button to enter the flash option, and make sure it's set to off. And the ISO, finally, press up to access the ISO, and you want to increase that. You may want to test 800 or 1600. 1600 is going to be a little bit noisy. You're going to see that the colors in your image aren't quite as smooth as normal, but it may be necessary to get you a fast enough shutter speed. So go ahead and test that. You can press the shutter button halfway. You can do this before the sporting event. In my case, my shutter speed right now is set to 1/1000th, and that's really just fine for any kind of sporting event. You don't need any higher than that, in which case I would suggest going down to ISO 800 to see what that's like. Press ISO, I'll go down to 800, hit set, press the shutter button halfway again, and now I'm at 1/500th of a second. That may or may not be fast enough, so I'll do a couple test shots to see which is best. If 1600 isn't enough, and you need even faster shutter speed than that, if you're in a very, very low light situation, then the other thing you can do is go ahead and go into the function menu once more, and go on up to the mode setting, and I'll go to the left and to the left again to choose the scene mode. Now click display to enter the scene mode, and if I move through the different scenes, at the very end is ISO 3200. Now this will produce possibly the worst quality image the camera can do. You'll also notice that when I choose ISO 3200, my resolution has dropped significantly to M3. So my resolution is a lot smaller. The picture will not be nearly as sharp had I used ISO 1600 or even 800. So if you really need it, it's available, but I would highly recommend using 1600 if you can, and do that by getting to the manual mode. Press display to get out of here, and choose the manual mode in your function menu. Now, once you have all that set up, the other thing to keep in mind when you're photographing sports, and this is very, very important, go ahead and exit the function menu, is focusing. And it's going to be very, very difficult for the camera to focus on anything that's in action or moving. So basically what you have to do is focus before the action happens. Press the shutter button halfway. Make sure the focusing square is over something at roughly the same distance. If, let's say, you're taking a picture of a horse race, you're not going to wait till the horses come into the frame. You're going to focus on the fence behind the horses. So focus, press the shutter button halfway, wait for that focusing square to turn green, and then just patiently wait for the action to happen. As soon as the action happens, press the shutter button the rest of the way, and the picture will be taken immediately. Remember, high ISO, don't use the flash, it's not going to do anything. Press the shutter button halfway, prepare the camera with the focus point, recompose the image the way you want it, and then wait for the action to happen. As soon as it happens, press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the picture. To find out much more about digital photography and your digital camera, go to lbguides.com.